Good afternoon. Welcome to today's sessions. My name is Marcus. I'm the Alliance Solutions Engineers here in Okta. In today's sessions, I'm here to share with you some of the key common challenges when it comes to identity and what are the potential solutions that Okta can bring to solve your identity challenges. Over the past 3 years, a lot of businesses have gone online, and we have all experienced that. In today's context, we can buy anything, we can engage most of the services from the comfort from our home, right? And all these different platforms allow us to access on different devices. It can be your mobile devices, your tablets, on your laptop, sometimes even on your smartwatches. From an employee perspective, a lot of organizations also open up, allow employees like us to work from anywhere, any part of the world on any of the devices. All these different experience also enhance and personalize the user experience. Some of the e-commerce platform, they are able to tell what are the purchase history that you have done and tailor the user experience according to what you like and what are relevant to the individual, right? All these different amazing experience, different platform allow users to access at any part of the world on any devices. They are all secured by this single little box whereby we punch in our username and password. But at the back of this authentication form, it can be very complicated. From a B2B kind of use cases, how do you validate your employee and allow them to access your internal resources from any part of the world on any of the devices they are using? From a B2C context, how do you authenticate your customers and make sure they are secure, at the same time, least frictions when they engage your services or using your platform? These are all very common challenges that we see and a lot of organizations are facing today. Let's drill down deeper on the workforce identity from an employee context. How organizations are securing their internal employee? What are the common challenges that they are facing? One of the very, very common topics that I hear on the ground, how organizations are moving to the cloud. And for the past 3 to 4 years, we have seen a lot of organizations, they are moving their workloads to the cloud to enjoy the benefit that cloud computing can offer. And the common challenges is how do they then validate their employee, their contractors, their partners, when they are at anywhere, any part of the world with probably any of the devices, trying to access your internal resources. And when we say internal resources, it can range from the cloud SaaS services, your on-prem applications, it could be your cloud provider services, it can be your server access like the SSH RDP, or even for the machine API kind of access. So how does organizations secure the users from anywhere, any devices to any of your resources? This is pretty challenging, right? And this is where Okta can come in and help. We can become the central IAM solutions, identity access management solutions. We validate who they say they are on what devices, and then allow them to access the authorized services that they are assigned to, right? At the same time, one of the very common challenges is when organizations adopt new services online, new SaaS services, or they have rolled out a new applications. How do they allow their users, their contractors, or their partners to access all these different services using their existing credentials in their Active Directory very commonly? Again, this is where Okta come in. We are able to integrate with any of the directory that include your Active Directory, your LDAP, it could be your Google Workspace directory, any of the directory can be integrated into Okta, and Okta allow any of the users, we validate who they say they are according to their username and credentials before allow them to access what are assigned to them, right? So this is on a very high level how Okta solve this moving to the cloud challenges where a lot of enterprise and organizations are facing today. And another common identity challenges that we hear on the ground is whenever a users join organizations, right? How do you get provisions? How do you get assigned to all the different applications that you need to use for your day-to-day work? A very common way that are being done today is manual provisioning. So when the users join, the HR will tell the IT administrator this user's profile, what they are entitled to, and then the IT administrator will then need to manually provision all these different applications to the individual. The first problem statement here is manual provisioning. That means your user onboarding process will take longer. The second challenges here is human's error. What happens if the IT administrator provision the wrong applications to the wrong individual? Does it mean he's essentially giving unauthorized access to different applications? So these are things that a lot of organizations want to avoid and potential create a cybersecurity risk. Again, this is where Okta come in. Okta automatic lifecycle management allow organizations to automatically assign applications to users according to their role and responsibility. If you look at this diagram, when a users join, Okta are able to read the HR system, the directory, and we are able to extract the user's attributes and then assign application automatically according to their user's attributes. So on the very first day, the joiner, the new employee will have immediate access to the necessary applications. One day, if the individual were to change role, right, they change from an engineering role to a sales role, or they be promoted to different role in different business unit, their access to the different application will change automatically as well. Same, one day if the individual were to leave the organizations, Okta will automatically deprovision all these access and cut off the user's access when the users leave the organizations. This is where Okta lifecycle management come in to automate the process of your provisioning, onboarding, and offboarding. And in today's context, when we allow employee to access your internal resources from any part of the world and sometime on any of the devices that they own, there is a very potential risk that there are high-risk users or suspicious users trying to access your internal resources. So if you look at this diagram, when the users log in, this is where Okta come in. We are able to read their locations, what devices they are using. Are they coming from a common or trusted IP address? Or is the user's behaving a little bit suspicious, right? All these would be taken into considerations when Okta validate the users. Take for example, if a users are logging in from a new locations and they are using new devices, right? They used to log in from a Mac machine, but today they are logging in from a Windows machine. And it's coming from a new IP address, and somehow the users are not behaving just like how he authenticated previously. He's authenticating from a new country. He's authenticating in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. Okta take into consideration of all these contacts and change the login experience of the users. So probably when the users are logging in from the norm way, you only need the username and password, or maybe just a POTP kind of validations. But because today he's behaving differently, Okta will ask him for another factors, probably the fingerprint, the Face ID, or different factors, something that he is, something that he have, or something that he are, right? So this changes the login experience of the users and enhance the security levels of how we validate the users before they are allowed to access any part of the internal resources, right? So this is where Okta able to change the login experience according to the user's behaviors. All right, so now you have seen the common challenges in the B2B kind of use cases and how Okta can come in and help. Let's take a look on how Okta can help from a customer's identity perspective. So when it comes to customer's identity, one of the biggest challenges that we hear so far is how do we constantly and synchronize the different branding of our login, right? So when it comes to earlier on, I talked about businesses going online. They allow users to log in from any of the devices. Today, it can be your laptop, it can be your mobile devices, it can be your tablet. How do you then synchronize the different login experience across all these different platforms? Most of the time, the developers have to change the looks and feel and change the coding for the different devices, the iOS, Android, Mac OS, and Windows. But with Okta, when you are using Okta for the login, everything can be centrally changed in Okta console. When you change the look and feel in Okta console, it will automatically synchronize the different look and feel across the different devices, allow you to have a true omni-channel experience to your consumers. And then one of the key challenges when it comes to consumer or customers' identity, when users realize that the database is not scalable, especially for the past 2 years, and now the borders are opening up, users start to rush in and register to businesses online, such as air tickets booking, hotel booking, right? Whether the database can cater for all these search of users, right? Any downtime to the database also means downtime to the businesses, and that translates to revenue loss. And this is a very common challenges, how the user's data store can scale and cater to the business need. So this is where Okta can come in. Okta sits in the cloud. Okta provides 99.99 uptime and auto scaling capability. These will provide 99.99 uptime for your consumer as well, right? That means that every time they want to log in and book a ticket, they want to open up a new account for registrations, Okta are there. Okta is ready to serve them, right? And one of the key common challenges that we hear is, okay, I like these services. We understand the benefit. We want to migrate into Okta. How do we do that seamlessly? Okta provides a seamless migrations capability. You can see from this diagram, when a users log in, Okta will reach out to your existing databases. We are able to read the users and put it into Okta seamlessly, so that the consumer will not experience any form of downtime, or they don't even know the account have been migrated, right? So it's always available. It's built for scale. It provides you the world-class security. At the same time, it allows organizations to seamlessly migrate their existing data into Okta without any downtime and seamlessly to the consumer as well. And when it comes to authenticating your consumers, there's always a decision factors whether we want to collect their data when they want to register an account with you, or we want to make it simple so that the users can quickly register and start using your services. It's always challenging, right? So you can see in this diagram, very typical comparison of easy registrations, but less data, or more data, but more frictions when the users want to register for your services. So how do we, from an organization perspective, from a business standpoint, collect users' data to enhance the user's experience with our e-services? This is where, again, Okta can come in and help. Our progressive profiling allow you to start collecting users' information when they navigate around your services. For example, in this diagram, when users try to book a hotel, we will then ask, hey, is this you? Will you be interested for more information? And then we prompt them from certain informations. And we start to progressively collect the data. When the users log in and when they click on their user's profile, we ask them whether they want to update their company and titles. And then this data will start to consolidate in Okta. And then from a business standpoint, we can reuse the data for marketing purposes. For next visit, we are able to promote things that are relevant to the users. This is where progressive profiling come in to help you to provide a better user experience. At the same time, progressively collect users' data for other purposes. Okay, and this is a very common one. If you realize today, most of the online businesses, you log in, they allow you to authenticate with social login. Very seamless, no more registration of new account, and you probably no need to remember another set of credentials. But if you look at it from a business standpoint, does it mean that it would duplicate users' account? Marcus already have an account. Now I log in with my Google, log in with my Facebook. At the back end in my data store, you will have 3 different accounts. How do I then know this is the same users? How do I roll out my reward program? And how do I know these 3 users is actually the same users and he or she probably have booked by the same thing again and again, right? So all these are very important to make decisions, how we want to target, how we want to enhance the user experience in our e-services. Again, this is how Okta come in, right? We are able to do extensions when it comes to users login. When the users log in, we are able to write a piece of extensions to detect the users are using the same email address, using the same mobile device, mobile number, using the same logging in from the same IP address, etc., etc. We are able to write extensions to intercept the login to make certain decisions. And over here, you can see this is one little piece where we can detect the users are logging in with the same email address, and we prompt users whether they want to link the account. And by doing this, we will require the users to authenticate with another account that will then prove who they say they are before we link the account. In Okta, this is how it looks like. You will see the account being linked together, right? And we are able to know that Marcus is logging in from Marcus' account. At the same time, we also link to the Gmail login. This will effectively allow me to roll out marketing campaign. I know this is the same users. I can roll out my reward program to this user's account. So, as you can see, these are the different challenges ranging across the employee, B2B kind of use cases, coming to B2C in terms of the consumer. These are the common challenges. And Okta is the standard platforms. We are the identity companies that are able to come in and help, right? And identity is now one of the most strategic investment and organizations will make today, because we all know that behind all these amazing services that we can do online, behind all these different authentications that the employees can access any resources from any part of the world, they are all powered by identity. So if you have any identity challenges today, any of the above use cases that I mentioned resonate to you, feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to help. Thank you for staying through with me for today's sessions. I hope you enjoyed today's sessions. Again, my name is Marcus. Feel free to connect with me.